So, what are the real limits of our freedom? It's a question that feels more urgent today than ever, but over 150 years ago, John Stuart Mill wrote what might still be the definitive guide. Today, we're diving deep into his classic work on liberty. I mean, this is the fundamental puzzle of any free society, right? How much control can everyone else, the community, the government, rightfully have over you, the individual? Mill tackled this question head-on back in 1859, and his answer, well, it might just be more relevant now than it ever was. Okay, so to really get what Mill is saying, we have to understand that the whole fight for liberty was changing right before his eyes. For most of history, the struggle was pretty simple. You had to protect the people from the power of kings and absolute rulers. But as democracy started to take hold, Mill spotted a brand new threat. The old tyranny, that was a king with his laws and his armies. Easy to spot. But the new tyranny, Mill said it's society itself. It's the majority using the crushing, invisible force of public opinion. And all of a sudden, the biggest threat to your freedom wasn't some distant monarch. It was your neighbors. All right, so let's really dig into this new threat, which Mills gave a now famous name, the tyranny of the majority. So what does that actually mean? Well, it's not just about losing an election. It's that constant, nagging social pressure to conform. It's when society imposes its own ideas on anyone who dares to think differently, punishing you for being weird or unpopular without ever needing to pass a single law. It's an invisible cage. And Mill's take on this is, well, it's chilling. He basically argues this social pressure can be way worse than a dictator. Why? Because you can't escape it. There's no border to cross. It follows you everywhere, it gets inside your head, and, as he puts it, it enslaves the soul itself by making you terrified to be your true self. So, if we're all living in this potential invisible cage, how in the world do we draw a line in the sand? Well, Mill's answer was elegant. He proposed one simple, powerful principle to figure out exactly where society's power should end. And here it is. This is the heart of the entire book, what we now call the harm principle. The idea is so simple, but it's totally revolutionary. The only legitimate reason for anyone, society, the government, anyone, to interfere with your freedom is to stop you from harming someone else. That's it. Full stop. Let's break down what that means. Society can't force you to do something just because they think it's for your own good, physically or morally. They can argue with you, they can try to persuade you, they can beg you. But what they cannot do is force you or punish you. Mill's conclusion here is radical. Over your own body, your own mind, you are sovereign. And this one big principle leads directly to what Mill thought was its single most important application, the absolute, non-negotiable freedom of thought and discussion. I mean, just let that sink in for a second. Even if the entire world, every single person, agrees on something, and one lone person disagrees, the world has absolutely no right to shut that one person up. To silence an opinion, Mill says, isn't just wrong, it's like robbing the entire human race now and in the future. And his logic for this is just brilliant. He gives us 3 rock-solid reasons to never, ever silence an idea. First, the unpopular idea might actually be true. And to deny that is to basically claim you're infallible. Second, okay, maybe the unpopular idea is wrong, but it might just contain a little piece of the truth that we're missing. And third, and this is my favorite, even if your opinion is 100% correct, if you never have to defend it, it just becomes a dead dogma, a prejudice you hold without even knowing why you believe it. And then Mill just drives the point home with history. He reminds us of Socrates, a man we now see as a genius, who was put to death by good, respectable citizens who were absolutely convinced he was a danger to society. He points to the execution of Jesus Christ, carried out not by monsters, but by pious, respected men who were simply enforcing the prevailing opinions of their time. They thought they were doing the right thing. And maybe the most powerful example of all, Marcus Aurelius, one of the wisest, most virtuous rulers in all of history, and yet he persecuted Christianity, genuinely believing it was his duty. Mill's point is crystal clear. Even the best and smartest among us can get it catastrophically wrong when we start silencing ideas we don't like. Now for Mill, this whole defense of free thinking isn't just some abstract philosophical game. It all connects back to what he valued most, the full, vibrant development of every single human individual. Here's the thing. Mill argues that if you just spend your whole life following customs and doing what's expected, you never actually make a choice. You're just imitating. He says you're only using your ape-like faculties. You never get to develop the truly human stuff: perception, judgment, moral courage. He has this beautiful metaphor. Human nature, he says, isn't a machine you build from a blueprint. It's a tree, and it needs to grow and branch out in all directions, following its own internal energy. This is why individuality, even eccentricity, is so important. That's not a bug, it's a feature. It's where all human progress comes from. So for Mill, the biggest danger in the modern world wasn't going to be some dictator. It was what he called the despotism of custom, this overwhelming social pressure that pushes everyone to be the same, that dwarfs its men, and stops us from ever becoming the unique, incredible people we have the potential to be. And that really just leaves us with one final, crucial question for our own time, doesn't it? In our world of social media, of online mobs and ideological echo chambers, is Mill's tyranny of the majority not only still here, but maybe stronger and more powerful than he ever could have possibly imagined?